What if you woke up one morning and you looked around at your life and at yourself and you asked, do I really love myself? And do I really love the life that I've created? And what if the answer is no? Well, our guest tonight is someone who looked around, asked that question, and went on a quest for answers. And she found it while running, cycling, and swimming a lot. Her name is Amy Purvis, and she is an Ironman triathlete. And she is here on Bus Up Goddess to share her amazing story. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, and I actually went to middle school with Amy, and we were good friends. And I'm so excited to look up all the time and see her on Instagram, swimming, running, biking, holding all these medals. And so fascinating. She's here to share her wisdom and inspiration. So, welcome, Amy.
Hi, Elizabeth. It's so good to see you. It's been many years.
I'm so excited. I know we met when we were like 13 years old. So now you're in Southern California. You're an independent mom and you are an Uber athlete. It's amazing, Amy. Can you talk about how you woke up that morning or that day and you realized this isn't what I signed up for? I want a different life. What did you do and what did you think?
So actually, for the triathlon piece, it was, my friends talking me into signing up for a race. So triathlon is, you swim first, then you bike, and then you run, and there's different distances. But Ironman is a specific distance. 2.4 mile swim, 112-mile bike, and then a marathon at the end. Finish that off.
No, that's mind blowing. Okay, a marathon unto itself is really difficult, but after you did all those things, I want to hear about the endurance it requires mentally and physically. But first, your story, please, about how you got started with this.
Yeah. So basically, I was in a marriage and, I was, working and a dedicated mom and wife. And, I just kind of felt like I lost myself. And I think sometimes we lose ourselves, trying to please others or trying to live the life that you think that you should be doing. And at some point I decided, I'm not happy. And at the time I was overweight. I was about 50 pounds heavier than I am now. And working too much and commuting too far. And so I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm just not happy. So I want to try and change things. Am I unhappy with me or am I unhappy with my situation? So, I'd always been a runner. So since high school, did track and cross country and stuff. So I had done a couple marathons at that point. My last one was before that was 2015. I did the LA marathon, but I just wanted to see if there was something that I needed to find out about myself. So I started, swimming because it was hot in the summers where I lived. So I'd swim, when it was really hot, and then I had a bike, so I'd start biking more and stuff. And then, I decided to do a long bike ride. It was 100K, so 62 miles with a couple girlfriends of mine. We did it up the coast. It was really beautiful along Morro
Oh,
Bay,
wow.
California, and northern coast. It was a great ride and I really enjoyed it. And that was probably the first time I'd really trained for something that long. It was over 6 hours riding all day long and stuff. And so we had a great time. And one of the girlfriends, she did triathlons. So she talked me into signing up for a triathlon. But, as I did more of this exercise and I was losing the weight and I was focusing, I still had made time to do the other things that were important to me, with being a mom and everything. But I carved out time for me. And I really enjoyed being outdoors and, I don't know, when you exercise, you feel good about yourself, and the weight started to come off, and you learn new things. So and there's an empowerment in that I learned how to, change a bike tire, and I knew what different kinds of equipment to buy. And, running a race or, doing a triathlon, you feel like, wow, I really put work and dedication into this and I accomplished something. So
Hmm.
it was, the good feelings that you get out of that, that really gave me, the will to want to continue with it. So
I love it. So, okay, let's talk about the endurance because you told me if you can believe it in your mind, you can do it. Even when you're running, now you're running these ultra marathons that are 100 miles in 24 hours.
oh, there's actually there's cutoff times, but yeah, I'm
Oh,
for my first 100-mile race, and it's crazy. There's people who do like 250 miles and all this other. I'm like, every time you seem to like get to a new threshold, you're like, oh my gosh, there's more than that. Like, there's crazy people out there.
oh
But
my
for
gosh. But you have done these ultra marathons, which is 100 miles, and the limit is you do it way under 24 hours, right? But that
yeah,
exists.
yeah. Well,
So,
I've only the 100-mile one I've signed up for is in on Halloween this year, but I've done
oh,
a 50K, which is 31 miles, and I've done 60K, which is 40 miles. So I'm like working my way up. I was supposed to have a 50 miler in January, but that of course got canceled and then postponed. And so that one didn't happen. So, this last year, a lot of things have changed, but I still have those goals out there. I still train like I'm going to do those races that were supposed to happen. And I've got a couple coming up. I've got St. George half Ironman, and I've got a Tulsa, Oklahoma Ironman in the middle of May. So even though I've done one Ironman, I still, want to do more. And it's about every time you train for them, it's a new challenge. Can I do it faster? Can I learn more? Can I do better at it? Right.
mhm. Wow. Okay. So I call it a boss up goddess moment when you have that realization that your life isn't what you really want. It's not your
Mhm.
authentic you. So Amy, can you talk about the shift and how different you feel now? Because you posted on Instagram, you said, I don't even recognize that person in the pictures from years ago.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's crazy to see. And it was about 5 years ago when I was at my heaviest. But I look at, and I look like I ballooned up, I don't even look like the same person. But it's more about the inside that I feel different about myself. I stand up straighter in pictures. And I know that if I have a bad day, it's just today. It's just that moment. I can try again, and I can do better the next time. I can learn more. I can ask questions of people that have done these things. And so the aha is that, there's nothing in my mind that's impossible, like that I really want, right? Like if I work at it with consistency, I put a plan together and I execute that plan. It's just whether you want it. You have to set the goals that you really want. And if you do that, don't doubt yourself. Don't stop yourself before you even try. So if
Mhm.
it's something you really want, right?
Mm, I love that. And that's what keeps pushing you toward these new goals, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
So, mhm.
no,
Let's
I was
talk.
gonna say, like, 3 years ago, if somebody had said to me, oh, go run 100 miles, right? On trails, I'd be like, I don't know what, that's crazy. Like to run for 22 hours or like that. There's no way. But today,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's possible because I've learned a lot along the way. So you have to get there
Mhm.
with consistency, with baby steps and learning things along the way. So
I love it. So can you talk about the mental talk you have while you're enduring the physical pain and the
mhm.
thought of, oh my gosh, I'm running 100 miles or 26 miles for that matter?
Yeah, for me, actually, when I'm actually training or doing a race, I only really look at what's in front of me. I set like, okay, what's the next mile look like? I know I had a plan. I have to get there by a certain time, or I need to be fueling. Like if you're working out for, and the Ironman took me 15 hours to do, 15 hours and 20 minutes, I think.
Oh my gosh.
You have eating and drinking the whole time, right? So you
Uh-huh.
have specific plan of, okay, I need to be drinking Gatorade along the way and drinking water, and then taking gels and food every 20 minutes, certain amount of calories. You have a plan that you're following, but you don't look at the finish line. You
Mm.
you know that, okay, I have the swim, 0.4 miles. Okay, at this last one it was 2 loops. I need to do good around 3-way and then do a second loop. I only look at what's in front of me. I say, okay, I got to get to that next buoy, or I got, and I need to make sure I keep this pace. So I know those things from training. I never try to look at the finish line. I'm always trying to manage what I've got right in front of me. So that's a big piece of it.
Wow, that's fascinating. So, can you talk about what the training involves each day or each week?
Yeah. So for training, like for a full Ironman, you're probably doing 12 to 20 hours of workouts a week. Um, so, and you want to have, you know, switching up the three different sports, trying to train for that but it's actually kind of good because like if you're running every single day, you're pounding on your legs every single day. This kind of gives it a breakup. So like
Okay.
swim one day, I'll bike another day, and a lot of it because of convenience for the time constraint. You put your bike on what's called the trainer, so the back wheel comes off, and you there's a machine that makes it so like you're riding your bike in your house.
Mm.
So it makes it harder or easier in different pieces.
Mhm.
So you swim, you bike, and then you run, and you do different pieces of either intervals of hard or easy, or endurance, and you do longer workouts on the weekend. So you'll do a combination, a swim and then a bike, or a bike and then a run. So.
Mhm. Wow. And then have you ever had a moment in a race where you felt like you were going to give up, and what did you tell yourself?
You always come across that while you're racing, is that you're like, oh, this is going wrong today, or that is going wrong today, and I spilled this and I'm out of that, or whatever. But you seem to always find a way. You borrow, or you stop at the next station or something like that. But you typically try to, plan for things happening. So in those longer races, you have the ability to get extra supplies. They'll have stops where you had put things aside in a bag and that kind of thing. So you put extras in there in case something happens, like you get a flat tire or whatever.
Wow.
But yeah, it's just a matter of managing through the different pieces, trying to stay on your plan. And then it's exhilarating to be around other people trying to do the same thing. And, race day is exciting, and training is harder than the race because you're by yourself most of the time. And it's waking up early. So yesterday I woke up at 3:30 in the morning to ride my bike in the house. And then because my
Oh my
daughter,
gosh.
because
Because
yesterday
why, Amy?
I'm sorry.
It faded out for some reason. You said you had to take your daughter somewhere, so that's why you
Yeah,
got up super early?
yeah, she had a softball tournament. So she was going to be playing softball all day long, and it was an hour drive away. So I packed my run stuff with me, but I was supposed to get 5 hours, 6 hours of workouts in. So we were gone all day from 7:30, and we didn't get home till 6:30 at night. So I managed to get 2 hours on the bike in the morning before we left. And then I ran while we were there, while she was warming up. And then when I got home, I rode 2 more hours at night afterwards. So, I still have to manage getting her food for, breakfast and for dinner and all this other stuff too. So some days are.
Wow, that is but that is such discipline. First of all, to wake up that early. Secondly, like the mapping out the day and planning how to get it in while
Yeah.
that is amazing. So that shows your dedication. And that also shows there is a tremendous reward for this commitment. So besides the mental, you told me about the empowerment, but how do you feel? Like losing 50 pounds is a big deal, and building that muscle and being strong. What does that feel like, Amy?
It just feels like you're a new person. Like I am not that person anymore, right? Like I'm stronger. I feel good about myself. I mean, I ran then. I did a marathon when I was 50 pounds heavier. I do it now, and I'm not carrying around a 50-pound vest anymore. And so it's much easier to run, right?
Whoa, a 50-pound vest. It's so true. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. So, if anybody's watching, which I'm sure they are, wondering, how can I be like her? I want to do that. What's your advice?
Um, trying a new sport, finding friends. I have new friends that do these sports with me. I mean, when I'm working towards a specific race, I'm training most of the time alone, just from having to go back and forth to work and everything. But on the weekends, I have friends that I meet up with. We collaborate and talk about equipment and different things like that. So there's different. If you want to try triathlon, there are triathlon clubs you can join, or cycling clubs,
Oh,
swim. There's swim classes you can join, different sports, just being around the people who do the same things, it'll get you excited, and you'll
uh-huh.
have, make time to do those things. So then you'll join them, right? So,
Hmm. I
yes.
love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so how has the pandemic affected your ability to participate? Because some things were canceled, and then do you have to wear a mask? What do you do?
Yeah. So when you're actually exercising, you don't have to wear a mask, but yeah, I actually, I bring a buff, the thing that it's around your neck. And then I just pull it up whenever I come close to other people. In cycling, if it's cold, I pull it up anyway. But yeah, the pandemic was kind of, between March and, a lot of races got postponed or whatever. But I was signed up for things, and you get to postpone when to another race or whatever. But I just continue on as if they're going to happen, because I still get the benefits of being in the best shape of my life. At
Yeah.
49, I decided I didn't want my 50th birthday to be unhappy, right? So I said, I want to be in the best shape of my life. And so
Hmm.
ever since then, every year I've said, I'm going to do better than the last year. So I'm 52 now, and I'm in better shape than I was at 51, better shape than I was at 50. So it's just been, a fun ride. And
That's
and so
amazing.
yeah, I think a lot of people, and even triathletes, have suffered from, COVID and everything getting canceled, and getting depressed about it, and maybe not working out as much, and the pools, access, and the gym access, and a lot of people have snow and whatever, and that's difficult when everything's closed. And I'm lucky to be here because I can go outside and work out. But I bought more equipment to be at home, weights and different things like that, and I can ride my bike in the house. Bought lights so that I can run at night, when I need to, go to a park and run around or whatever. But I figured, if all the races are postponed, I can be in better shape by the time they come back,
Ooh,
right?
yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I can do better, and
Hmm.
and actually better than some other people who gave into it, right? Like, it's no,
Oh,
everybody's giving up, I'm depressed, whatever. And I'm like, no,
uh-huh.
I'm going
Uh-huh.
to be in better shape, and I'm going to do better because I have extra time. Because a lot of
Mm.
daughter's softball was canceled for a long time. You're not going out as much. I'm cooking more at home, all those kinds of things. So,
Perfect. Perfect. So, Amy, did you change your diet to lose those 50 pounds, or was it all exercise?
oh no, yeah, started eating healthier, stopped eating out so much, cut out the fried food, no more soda, all that kind of stuff. And then there was another shift too, that once I started triathlon, and that I want to do better, not just do the races. In this last year and a half or so, I'm very focused with, every day I start with a smoothie. So I mix, like a protein powder, collagen, and BCAA powders together with fruit. So I have strawberries and blueberries, fresh turmeric, fresh ginger, fresh beet, and then I put in almond milk, and I mix that every morning. I have the same, so it really fuels you for the day. It's clean, healthy, good stuff. And then, because I have a busy schedule, Sundays are usually my food prep days. So I will cook different meats, and then I will prep veggies. I'll cut them up and stuff. I don't like them because when they get mushy and stuff. So I usually don't pre-cook them. I just cut them up and put them in containers. And then I buy different sauces, or I make different sauces, and I put it all together on the day that I want to eat it, so I can have different things throughout the week. But, cleaner carbs, so whole potato, potatoes, not processed stuff, right? Potatoes, quinoa, brown rice and stuff, instead of the bleached out, and then more whole grain bread and things like that. So I just have those things on hand. And things like avocado fill you up. So I'll have avocado toast or whatever. So just trying to be, better about eating and fresher foods instead of the processed stuff. So.
Oh my goodness, I love that so much. And so do you sleep better? Do you feel that your skin's better? And I mean, I know that when you embark on that type of regimen, everything seems to improve. You have more inner peace. What are some other
Yeah.
benefits?
So the powders that I use, so like the collagen, I think for older people, not even just women, but I swear this is why my hair is this long, because the
Wow.
collagen has really helped, and the BCAAs being, and having those extra vitamins in my smoothies every single day has really, really helped. You would think that I beat up my hair because I have to put it in braids, and I'm like swim and I tangle it all up, but it's been super healthy with all the, your body is flushing with all of that stuff through if you're exercising.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, you're flushing the bad stuff out and good karma in and all that kind of stuff. So it just feels good.
Oh, that's awesome. And what a tremendous inspiration you are for your daughter. Can you talk about the importance of that? Like, you're showing her that anything is possible.
Yeah, what's funny is like she's really not, I thought she really wasn't interested, to hear about it or anything, but she does. When I see her, every time she asks me, she goes, "What are your workouts today?" And I'm like, "What are you asking?" I don't say that.
Oh,
I'm like, "Well, I got to swim tonight, or I got to run or ride the bike." And she doesn't say anything other than that. She just asks. And I'm like, "Oh, why?" And she's like, "Oh, I just wondered." But yeah, she's always like asking, "Oh, do you have to work out tonight or whatever? Is it a rest day?" And I'm like, "Oh, no, I got to work out today." But yeah, so you don't think that they're listening or watching or whatever, but yeah, she does, have some little interest. And the funny thing too is that, I can advise her on her softball stuff. Like they had 3 games yesterday in a row, and I'm like, "You need to be drinking a Gatorade every game. And, these are the bars that I use, take one of these between the games and stuff like that." So being able to know that I can confidently say, this is my advice, and it's important because I know, because I do the same thing, right? It's
yes.
preaching, right?
Right. Plus, she's a teenager. So teenagers often think their parents don't know anything. So it's awesome that she thinks you're an authority on this. I love that so much, Amy. Okay, so rest day, what does that mean? Do you do like a self-care routine, or do you just sleep? What do you do?
Yeah, so rest day from exercise is what we call it. But yeah, generally you need to also mix in recovery. So, stretching and core exercise. We try to actually do that throughout the week, but on rest day, there's no hard physical exercise. Take care of the, tasks that you need to get done, or food prep, get extra sleep, that type of thing. So, yeah.
Mhm. Okay, so what's your next biggest goal, or what's your ultimate biggest goal?
Okay, so I already kind of talked about the races that I have coming up this year, but
Mhm.
um, in the back of my mind, I just want to go for more on the next one. There's something called an Ultraman, and I'm not sure that I'm trying to test out whether I can get to that level, but it's basically about 2.5 times distances of each of the 3. So, and I don't even remember the exact distances, but I know that it's 6-mile swim. Cannot remember how long the bike is, but I know that it's like 250 or something like that, 300. I don't remember, but it's over 3 days, and then you
Okay.
run on the last day, and I think it's
Mhm.
52 miles on the last day. but yeah. So I'm going to start doing longer of each of the distances. So for instance, for swim, and I've done this twice this summer, should be fun. In Long Beach, there's a island a man-made island, but it's called Naples Island, and it's 3 miles to swim around it. So I've done it once or a couple times, just once around. But my goal is to start when the water gets warmer, because it's ocean water, to go once around a few times and then try and get to 2 times around. So that's 6 miles, right?
Oh, wow. That sounds so fun. And when I watch you on Instagram, it's like you're living such an adventure. You're always in a new place, a new state. It looks like you're all around the world, but maybe that's just,
That's just
it just looks so fun. So can you talk about how it really looks like you're living your best life, Amy?
yeah, no, I don't want to say no to things, new experiences, or trying new foods or places to go and things like that. So like last weekend, I was in Boise, Idaho, and then drove from Boise to Salt Lake City to Denver, and flew home from Denver on Sunday. And it just was a fluke thing with a friend. And, last minute, I'm like, yeah, sure. Tickets aren't that bad. So I'll come and, hang out. So who would have thought Boise, Idaho was a cool place? They have a green belt that's 25 miles long, and I ran there a couple of times. I did 18 miles on Saturday, and
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
Wow.
went
So,
running in Moab. So, I had never been to Moab,
mhm.
but yeah, it's fun to go to new places that, just on a whim sometimes.
Oh, that is so fun. I just love it. Love what you're doing. You're such an inspiration. So,
Thank
what
you.
does it mean? You're welcome. Amy, what does it mean to you to boss up goddess?
Um, just to find your purpose and decide that you're going to take control. And then, when you wonder whether you should do something or not, and this is how I felt about it when I decided to try for an Ironman, when I had only done, a sprint triathlon and an Olympic triathlon. I hadn't even done a half one yet. I was like, well, if all these other people can do it, and, there's a woman at Florida. She had one arm and she did the Ironman. There was a guy that was a double amputee from the knee down, and he did it. He did the Ironman. This past year, someone with Down syndrome, he did an Ironman. And I'm like, if these people can do it, why not me? I can do it. It's like
Mhm.
it's just a commitment of whether you really want it or not. Whatever goal
Mhm.
there is out there that you say, I really want to try that. Why not?
Mhm. Mhm. Was the double amputee Cedric King? He was in Afghanistan and lost his legs.
I know that man. I'm familiar with his story, but no, the one in 2019, Florida, is a different person. He lost his legs to disease, and his name is
Oh.
Steve Smith. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because we wrote and published, two sisters writing and publishing our company wrote and published
Uh-huh.
Cedric King's book,
Yeah.
and he does Ironman
Yeah.
competition. So,
Know exactly who.
wow. Yeah,
But
and that's his message that if I can do this,
yep.
you can do it too. And you just said it from the other perspective. So that's amazing. Amazing. Oh my gosh. Was there something you wanted to say, Amy?
Oh no, I was just going to say about Cedric. It's like, or not Cedric. Sorry, about Sydney was that I watched him and I watched the video afterwards because I was doing the same race he was that day. But he, obviously he didn't wear his extensions for the swim, right? And he had to get help getting out of the water and everything. And then he rode the bike and he had special legs for that. And he was blazing through both of those. Do you know that it took him, I think, 8.5 hours to do the run
Mm,
because of the pounding on his
right.
legs when he
Right.
had that? I just can't even imagine. But mentally, and he said that he had bleeding and and he had to train too. But even during the Ironman, it was bleeding and stuff like that, irritation there and everything. And I'm
Hmm.
like, the mental fortitude just to keep going and finish because it's something you told yourself you were going to do and you
Yes.
want it so bad and you're going
Yes.
to do it. Oh, I have something to show you. See,
Okay.
this is my tattoo. I don't know if you
Uh-huh.
can, but it has the Ironman symbol and it says, she said she would, so she did.
Oh, I love that. She said she would, so she did. I love that. Oh my gosh. So you say Iron Man is the brand, correct? That's like the
It's
right?
also, I mean, it's also the race, right? But it's the brand,
Uh-huh.
it's the name, the brand. Yeah,
Okay, okay, because a triathlon is an Ironman experience. No,
correct.
an Ironman is a triathlon.
An Ironman is a triathlon. Yes.
Okay, got it. Excellent. Okay. So, wow, Amy, is there anything else you'd like to share about your story or inspiration for others?
I think we covered a lot today.
Yeah, we did. I want to sign up. That sounds so amazing. You are a tremendous inspiration, and I can't wait to keep watching you and see you do your 100-mile ultra marathon and whatever adventure lies in your future. I am cheering you on,
thank,
Amy Purvis.
thank you very much.
You're welcome. So, thank you for joining me here on Boss Up Goddess.
Thank you. It was great to talk to you.
You too, you too. And thank you, all of you, for joining us tonight, where you got to meet triathlete, amazing woman, Amy Purvis, sharing her inspiration, her story, and her example of how all of us can boss up and be the goddesses empowered in mind, body, and spirit to really do anything we set our mind to. So, please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. We'd love to hear what you have to say about all of this. What are your questions? And also follow me on Twitter at Elizabeth Atkins. And remember, boss up, goddess. You have the power.